Hi there, everyone. This is Toni Campana with Toni Marie's Creations, and I actually have to chuckle a little bit before I get started here. I had done this video through a Zoom meeting a little earlier this morning, and went to view my video to see how it would look so I could upload it to YouTube, and it did not record properly at all. So here I am trying to do this again, and hopefully this is going to work out okay. So go ahead and get started. I wanted to introduce the new catalog that just launched on June 6th. I had done a product preview of it a little while, maybe a week or so ago, about it. So you've seen some of the product, but I wanted to actually kind of go through the catalog and explain a few things so that it was a little more easier. It was a little easier to work through and maybe answer some of the questions you might have. First of all, I just wanted to show that we have a new beginner's brochure that started with this new catalog launch. This is perfect for if you're just getting into stamping and aren't really sure what products you need and things like that. The items featured in this catalog are geared specifically towards somebody starting out new with Stampin' Up. So when you purchase these, I guess you would call those kits, they come with everything you see in the picture here. So this particular one, Four Seasons Floral, has your adhesive, 2 ink spots, the block you would need for your stamps, some paper stock or cardstock envelopes, and some embellishments to add to your cards. And then on this page, you'll see there's all these different samples that you can follow, or you can just go and create your own sort of project. So each page will show you what's included in the purchase of this product package. This is probably one of my favorites because it's got a great assortment of the ink spots, and these many ink spots are what we feature in our subscription, our monthly subscription called Paper Pumpkin. That's one way to start collecting the ink colors, but if you purchase this set, then you get eight of these little mini ink spots, which are, it's a great way to just start collecting your color assortment. In this case, you get the stamp set, the block, Whisper White cardstock, and your, again, as I said, the ink spots. So as you go through the catalog, you'll see each one's a little bit different. This particular one features our watercolor pencils and the special ink that you need for the watercolor pencils. Again, a block, some cardstock. So it's just a matter of what you want to start out with, or what catches your eye first. This set actually starts with our markers, so you could start getting a collection of the markers. And this one is our brand new 2020 to 2022 in color markers. So again, great for the beginner, and probably what you should lean towards if you're just getting into stamping and don't want to be overwhelmed by the big catalog. It does explain a little bit more about our Paper Pumpkin. Again, as I said, it's a monthly subscription, and each month you get a box that has everything in it that you need to create the projects for that month. Sometimes they're cards, sometimes they're 3D packaging items. It's a mystery. We never know what we're going to get each month, but it's always a lot of fun. And then this last page just has a few other optional pieces that you could purchase to go along with your kits to help making them a little bit easier. So brand new beginner catalog. And now I want to get to the big guy, the new catalog. First of all, I just want to explain that your catalog's not going to look like this if you get one from me. It's I actually have this done. There's a demonstrator in North Carolina who does this, will do this for us. Spiral bound, and there's a clear plastic cover the front and the back. And then other demonstrators who share everything will make tags or tabs and share the files with us, and then we can print them out and then put our files in. So it does make it a little bit easier for us to go through the catalogs. These color tabs, they're just some of the things on my wish list, and just some of the things. I go back and forth and I add things and take things out. So yeah, there's usually a lot. New catalog, new wish list. So let's get started. I wanted to explain the terminology a little bit first. Stampin' Up, you'll hear a lot of different things like suites and bundles and all-inclusive kits and oh gosh, what's one of the others? A medley. We have medleys. So what does all that mean? Well, first of all, a suite is just a collection of coordinating product, and Stampin' Up, you know, really focuses on giving us a lot of things that work well together, and then we can purchase those things as a suite, or we can still purchase things individually. It doesn't have to be purchased as a suite, but it just makes ordering a little bit easier because you know you'll have everything you need to make projects that coordinate well. And there are several suites in this catalog, and we have the first page here on page 1. They're broken out by category. So all occasion, love, thanks, and support, kids and babies, birthdays, and artistic expressions. And then we have accessories and more. That all starts on page 140. So I'll explain a little bit more about the breakdown of suites and bundles, things like that. Page 3, we have a new section. It's called Stampin' Up. Stamp it up, not Stampin' Up. Stamp it up. Well, this page actually does a couple things. It explains the 2 different types of stamps that we have. We have cling, or what some people will call the red rubber stamps, and we have photopolymer, and they are acrylic. You can see through them, and they're really really easy to work with if you're working on positioning, because you can see through the acrylic block. You can see exactly where the stamp is going to be placed. And then we have this Stamp It Up section, which focuses on techniques. So you'll see different techniques featured on a page, and this is telling you where you could find that. So to work with markers, there's a project on page 103. For heat embossing, there's a project on page 48. So that'll help you find those types of things. All right, so card kits. Card kits are another way of sticking your toe in the paper crafting world. If you're not an avid stamper, or if you've not really collected a lot of supplies, kits are the way to go, because we have 2 different types of kits. You can get an all-inclusive kit, which you'll find on this page here. We have 2 of them featured in this catalog, and it means exactly as it says. It's all-inclusive. So everything that you need to get started is in this kit. So you've got some pre-printed card fronts, envelopes, embellishments, your stamp set in an acrylic block. There's an ink spot, adhesive dots, and foam dimensionals, and then some other little embellishments here. So everything's included. You even get a nice little box to keep everything in. Same with the looking up. This was a kit we actually had in last year's catalog, and I'm glad to see that they carried it over, because this is really a good universal type of a kit. It goes across all sorts of celebrations. Very very modern looking, I guess I would say. But I bought this kit and did it last year at another demonstrator's class, and it was a lot of fun to put that together. And then we have project kits. The difference with project kits is you have to purchase your stamp set separately. Your ink is separate. Any embellishments are separate. But what you get in the kit itself is all the paper. Well, this actually includes, there's some ribbon, I think some twine, there are some stickers, but your cards and envelopes and labels and things like that, that's what is in this kit. So you always have to remember, with a project kit, you do need to purchase the stamps and ink to go separately with that. And then we move on to something called a medley. Well, goodness, what's a medley? Well, a medley is sort of like a kit. It includes, well, I actually purchased this medley, so let me show this to you. It's better to see it, I think. So it comes in a plain box. It's not a storage box at all. But what you get in a medley, and in this case the Boho Indigo, is you're going to get your stamp set. And the pictures here, you get a stamp set, a set of dies, and there's 12 dies. You get, misplaced my ribbon. I've got it somewhere here. Oh, it's in my hand. Jeez, it's been that kind of day. DSP. The DSP is our designer series paper, and this comes with a 6x6 pack of paper, and it is just chock full of patterns, textured paper. If you flip it over to the other side, oops, you've got all these, again, additional patterns that you can work with. And I just love this color. That's what drove me to purchase it, because I think indigo blue is one of my all-time favorite colors. And then along with the medley is you get some additional embellishments. There's a set of larger daisies and smaller daisies. And then you get 2 spools of ribbon. There's a gold and, again, the indigo. It's kind of a ragged edge grosgrain, it looks like to me. So you get all of that in a medley. What you do not get is the clear block that you would need to mount your stamps, and you do not get ink. So those things you would have to buy separately. Now it will tell you on the detail page at the bottom, it tells you what colors coordinate with this set, so that you could go ahead and purchase the ink pads or the ink spots that you would need to complete the projects. And the thing with medleys is that if you go through all of the material that you have here, you can also purchase a refill kit. And the refill kit comes, it's the papers and the flowers. So that's what would come in the refill kit on that. So that's what a medley is. You don't get the clear block, you don't get the ink that goes with it, and you don't get the adhesive. Although there are some sticker embellishments you could use. And you get a lot for the price of the kit. The kit's $70, and you get, and it's an enormous amount of product that you do get in here. So let's go back and talk a bit about a suite. So again, a suite is a grouping of coordinating product that you can order all together and just use one order number for the whole thing. But if you decide you didn't want the whole kit, there were just some pieces of it you didn't really care for or didn't want to get right now, you can then still just order individual parts of that. So you could just get the jar of flowers bundle, or just the Celebrate Sunflowers bundle. So, okay, there's another term I've just thrown out to you. Bundle. What's a bundle? A bundle is a set of stamps and a coordinating punch, or a set of stamps and a coordinating die. So we usually feature those in suites. And when you purchase a bundle, so the stamp and the tool with it, you get a 10% discount. Okay, so there's a benefit of purchasing both of those together. Again, you don't have to, but usually if you've got something that a die that coordinates with a stamp image, or a punch that coordinates with a stamped image, you're going to want that to go along with it. So you will, again, that's what that little icon or that little emblem there, the 10%, is when you purchase a bundle. So stamp set and a die, or stamp set and a punch. And then a bundle can be part of a suite. Okay, some other things I want to just point out in the catalog is that when you see a bundle, like these 2 pages, so if you see here on the left, you'll notice that this image is a little bit of a creamy tan color, okay? And over here, you have the image that's shaded in gray. Well, there's significance to those two things. If you see a stamp set and it's got an image that's got this yellow color, it means there's a coordinating punch that goes with it. If you see the gray shaded area, it means there's a die to go with it. So in this particular bundle, you have a die that matches each of these pieces in the stamp set because they're shaded gray. There's nothing for those sentiments. You can fussy cut them, or you can use another die from a different set to cut them. But in this particular set, the dies coordinate with those flowers and leaves. On this set here, the punch coordinates with the punch. With the jar. And you'll also see something a little different here. You see a very dark gray image, and then you see the more clear image. Okay, what that is, that signifies that this is a reversible stamp. So you stamp one side and you get this detail of the jar with the little lines through it. If you flip that piece over, you can stamp a solid jar image. So you can do that on both these two sets, and that's part of our reversible stamp line. And we have a few others that are in the catalog, and I can't remember them off the top of my head, but we do have some other reversible sets that do that. So just a little bit of an explanation about, bundles within suites, what the shading means in your catalog. Again, the gray means there's a die. The yellowish means there's a punch that goes with it. The other thing, just flip back here for a moment, is you'll see a page, always have a page full of different projects that you can recreate, duplicate, or you can use it as a base to start your own creativity and just, change a few things up. It'll show you our designer series paper that goes with the particular suite, and then these little color bubbles will tell you the specific colors that match or that coordinate with the suite. Okay. Flip over here. I'm dropping everything. Okay. I talked about reversibles. Okay, so now I'm going to move on to page 37. If you have your catalog, you can go along with me. If you don't have a catalog and you don't currently have a demonstrator that you order through, I'd be happy to send a catalog out to you. You just need to contact me, either a message on this video or go to my blog, which is ToniMariesCreations.com. You can go to my Stampin' Up! Facebook page, business page, which is Toni Marie's Creations. And then you can also reach me through my Stampin' Up! Shop page, which is ToniMariesCreations.stampinup.net. And I'd be happy to get a catalog out to you. Okay, so the next thing I wanted to show you was something called Shop the Project. This little box up here. What it's referring to is the picture below. So there's this little project. It tells you what was used in making this particular project. So it obviously uses this stamp set, but it also uses, there's dies that coordinate with this. They used some of the ribbon combo from Playful Pets, and then they embossed the sentiment on this. So they're telling you about the embossing powder that was used. So you'll see that throughout the catalog as well. And it's just indicating to you the other products that were used to make that particular project. Page 42, you'll see something called You Might Also Like. It's kind of like Facebook, where if they see that you've done, you've clicked on something, you'll start seeing similar things come up in your feed. So it's sort of like that. It's kind of like, oh, you like that? Well, maybe you're going to like this. So for instance, the Pampered Pets, if this is a stamp set that you like, you might also like some of these other suggestions. So there's some punches, and there's another animal related stamp set that's in that box. One of the other icons that you'll see, or symbols, is one that says distinctive. It's a dark green, or like an olive green. It's kind of like a starburst. And that refers to a particular style of stamp, and we have a number of these throughout the catalog as well. And if you look closely, the image is kind of, I guess, what I would call like a crosshatch kind of design, and that's what we call our distinctive stamps. There's actually an index of these stamps I'm going to show you in a little bit. The other is, you'll see this gold badge, and this indicates that there's a demonstrator who reached $1 million in sales with Stampin' Up! Throughout their career. It tells you the name of the demonstrator. And one of the benefits of reaching $1 million in sales with Stampin' Up!, which there are many, but one of the really cool ones is that you get to go to the headquarters at Stampin' Up! In Utah and work with their designers to create your very own stamp set. So that's really cool. That's a long-term goal. I'd love to do that someday. Page 48, I talked to earlier, there's something called, on the page it was called Stamp It Up, and it talked about the techniques. This is one of those techniques that I was telling you about. So this one features the embossing, and it tells you a little bit about, you know, how to do that, the embossing part. Okay. The distinctive index for those stamps that I was mentioning, we do have an index. It's kind of buried in the center of the catalog though, but on page 114, that's the whole index of those specific types of stamps that you can purchase, the distinctive. And if you notice over right across from it, there's a set, Beautiful Friendship, and you'll notice, as I said, it's kind of got that little cross hatch design in the stamps. Okay, if you are a stamper or a crafter and you create things that you want to sell and you use Stampin' Up! Product, you need to know about our angel policy. And actually any company that manufactures or sells and distributes stamps, things like that, will have an angel policy. Not many people know about them, but they exist. And Stampin' Up! Says that you can sell projects you've made with Stampin' Up!'s copyrighted images if they include the copyright Stampin' Up! Stamp. And it's not something that you can just write by hand. There's actually a stamp that coordinates, or that goes for that. That would have to be included on projects or craft items that you create if it uses Stampin' Up! Images. You can actually find more information about that at stampinup.com/terms of use. So I just wanted to point that out, that you can find that stamp in this Make a Difference set. There were many versions of the stamp, the copyright stamp, sold many years ago. So some demonstrators do have some still in their collection, and they can be used as well. It just has to have that copyright Stampin' Up! For the angel policy. Then I'm going to just move on to page 140, and this is called Take a Sip. It says, when it comes to stamping, just remember the basics. Stamps, ink, and paper. Sip. So this is going to feature our different mediums that you can use: stamps, ink, paper. So we talked about our cardstock. It's where to find all the stamping pads and ink refills, the markers, ribbons, trims, things like that. So it's just another breakdown of where to find those products in the catalog. Now on to one of my probably favorite sections. We get to see all the beautiful colors that we have available. And we have them broken out into color families, color collections, I guess. They used to be called families, but so we have brights, neutrals, regals, subtles, our basics, and then we have something called in colors. Okay, so within each section there are 2, 4, 6, 8. So there's 10 colors in each section. And you'll see that you can purchase cardstock, stamp pads, refills, and our stamping blends, which are our alcohol markers. Okay. You'll notice on some of the boxes under the blends that there's just a dash in the box. There's no order number, and that's because we don't carry the blends in that particular color. And the reason is because there's already an alcohol marker that's in a similar shade. There wasn't enough differentiation to warrant having another set of markers made. So that's why you'll see those dashes. I would just offer some caution that when you are ordering from this little grid, just make sure that you're on the proper line of the product you want to order. I've done it before where I've thought I'm ordering cardstock and I've slipped down to the next box and accidentally ordered a stamp pad when I didn't mean to. So just pay just a little attention there. And now I want to talk about our in color collections. So in colors are just special colors we bring in every 2 years, and there's 5 of them. And they kind of reflect, or not kind of, they reflect, what's hot out there in the design world at the moment. So these colors are going to always change based on what's popular. And we've got a set that's started in 2019 and it will retire next year. So we have that set here, but I'm going to focus on the new in colors, the 2020 to 2022. So we have these available in, as I said, the cardstock, stamp pads, refills, and alcohol markers. So these are our colors for this year. The Bumblebee, Misty Moonlight, Magenta Madness, Cinnamon Cider, and Just Jade. And I love all of these colors. There's times when I'll look at a collection, I'm like, well, I kind of like that, but I don't think I'm going to ever use that color, or one becomes my favorite. I really like all of these, and I like these together. They don't have to be used together, but these work well together, I think. So now, kudos on those selections this year. I really, really do like them. So you can purchase the stamp pads. We also have a set of coordinating markers that go with those colors. And you'll find that information. The markers aren't listed here in this series of product. But if you turn the page, you'll see our assortments and bundles. This is where you can purchase color groupings of items. So, for instance, I mentioned the Stampin' Right markers. If you look, there's the little red N. I should have mentioned this earlier in the catalog. I skipped over that. But the little symbol with the red circle with the N means it's a new product. So there's our new 2020-2022 markers. You get a set of 5 in the package. But you can also purchase assortment. So if you wanted to get the entire assortment of brights and markers, you would order that on this page. And then there's individual order numbers for each color family. So that's what you'll find here, the assortments of the color collection. If you are into organizing, and I try to be, but to look at my room, you wouldn't really think so. We have a great system that came out about a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago. We have holders for our blender pens, for our ink pads, which also holds the markers. And then we have big open cubes. You see those here. It's called open storage. So you can put, as you see here in this example, there's punches stored in there. You can buy little toppers so you can keep your ink refills on the top. And then there's just a plain lid. So, you don't want to stack anything else on top of that. You put a lid on it. But I love mine. In fact, I need to order a few more to, I want to redo my configuration. And I spend my life reconfiguring my storage in here. I don't think I'll ever get it the way I want it to be. Okay, so then after that, we get into coloring tools. There's just a wealth of product here to purchase to help with your paper crafting projects. The one thing I really wanted to point out on this page, which is new this year, is you can purchase an assortment of the classic stamping spots. Now, stamping spots are those little mini versions that I talked to you about earlier. You'll get these when you purchase kits. And they also come in our Paper Pumpkin, the subscription that we have. But this is the first time in a long time we've offered a color collection in the spots. Now, I want to point out you can purchase clear or blank stamping spots, and then you can purchase the re-inkers and make your own. So that's always an option. but it's nice to have some that are already, you know, colored, ready to go. But I would recommend, if you're going to purchase this assortment, I strongly recommend that you order the refills for them as well, because it's a smaller pad. You're going to use the ink up quicker. And whereas our regular pads, and I'll show you here, our regular pads are made of foam, and they hold the ink a lot longer. The stamping spots are made of a cotton fabric type of a material. So you're going to need to re-ink those more often if you're using the stamping spots. So just something to keep in mind. I just wanted to point out on our designer series papers. So these will coordinate with the various suites that we have in the front part of the catalog. But I just want you to make sure that you're looking at the sizes. So we have some that are in 12 by 12 size sheets, and we have some that are in 6 by 6 size sheets. So if you're looking at the description, you'll see, so the Artistry Blooms, you're getting 12 sheets, two each of 6 double-sided designs. If you come down and look at the 6 by 6, you're getting 48 sheets for each designs of, or for each of 12 double-sided designs. So I've caught myself doing that sometimes. I've purchased the designer series paper thinking I'm going to get a 12 by 12 package, and it's actually a 6 by 6. So just be aware when you're ordering that you know what size that you're getting. And it is a little bit more descriptive now. I don't think it was in the past, but it does say in the title that, you know, the 6 by 6 stands out so that you know. Oh, okay, that's just, we're into our accessories. There's more DSP. We actually have them in the in colors, and we have them in the color collection groupings as well. So then we're off to various tools and our paper basics, our packaging basics. So these are nice little bags or boxes if you're making up gift type items. This is where you'll find our basic cardstock, our Whisper White, Very Vanilla, and the Shimmery White. Now, there's a difference between, there's an 8.5 by 11, just a plain Whisper White, and then there's thick Whisper White and thick Very Vanilla. This is what I use. I have switched over, and I'm using the thick cardstock as my card bases now. It's just much sturdier. It just feels, it's just a nice, substantial cardstock for your card base. So your cards aren't going to feel flimsy or, bend or anything like that. I'll use the Whisper White to do layers, or if I'm going to be die cutting or punching, I just use the regular Whisper White and Vanilla for that. So just a little bit of a difference there. We've got new square vellum doilies. You can actually use our alcohol markers to change the colors of these. So if you didn't want the translucent look of vellum, just pull out your alcohol markers and you can color them any color you want. Well, any color that we have in our blends collection. Okay, Memories and More. You see that title and you tend to think of scrapbooking, and you can certainly use this product for scrapbooking. And we do still have some albums here and some scrapbooking. There's also something called Memories and More cards and envelopes. So the Memories and More, I have those handy. Let me just grab them real quick. We have the envelopes and cards, and the Flowers for Every Season suite. They're actually featuring a Memories and More pack. So the envelopes and the card bases, as you'll see, this happens to be the new in colors. So you'll see those colors. There's 2 of each color. I've used the Bumblebee color, so that's why you don't see them in here. The Memories and More is just a package of pretty substantial in weight cardstock, and they're colored, they're designed already. They've got spaces where you can type a sentiment in them. You can use them for journaling, so some have lines in them, and they're double-sided, so you get quite a variety. There's even some Christmas type patterns in here, if you notice on this side. So you've got the smaller size, and then you've got larger size. So these could actually go, you know, right on the front of a card. And again, just the assortment of designs. And somewhere in here, yeah, there's some stickers, so you've got some embellishments. And again, most of these are double-sided. It's a great way to make really fast projects. If you are in a pinch and you just don't have the time to sit and pick out colors and designs and pull out your stamps, these are a great go-to. And I'm going to show you a little project in a few minutes where I actually use some of the memories and more to finish my project off. So in this catalog, we've got the Flowers for Every Season Memories and More pack, and we also have one of our suites, the World of Good Memories and More packs, and there's some beautiful papers in that card pack. So try those out if you haven't tried them before. They are a lot of fun to work with. Okay, we've got our embellishment assortments and some basic tools. Our ribbons are shown. They actually show the sample of the ribbons, and it doesn't, oh yeah, it does show all the colors they come in, so you can get a good visual of the colors that these ribbons are available in. Now, a thing to remember is if you purchase a white ribbon, so in this case number 16 is our, I'm sorry, number 17, crinkled seam binding ribbon. This ribbon is awesome. It ties beautifully. It's not bulky. It's not hard to work with. And the fact that it's white is that you can use our alcohol, our blends, which are alcohol markers, and color these in whatever color you might need to coordinate with your card or your project. So I don't know how many spools of this I've already been through, but I love, love, love this ribbon. It's my absolute favorite. You could do the same with these ribbons here that are edged in either silver or gold. You can use the alcohol, the blends on those and change the colors of those as well. I just want to touch here briefly. We have two new adhesives that we've added to our catalog this year, and it's called Stamping Seal and Stamping Seal Plus. And you see the little plus at the end there. This is replacing the Tombow adhesive that we had in the catalog previously, so it works for adhering your basic layers together. This Stamp and Seal Plus replaces a product that we actually discontinued a couple of years ago, but this is going to be used on projects that are a little bit, you need to have more strong adhesive. So 3D projects, when you're putting together boxes or containers or things like that, or if you're working with a embossing folder that's got a very textured embossing to it, I like to use the stronger adhesive to make sure it's going to really stick well when I layer it. So the nice thing about this are the cases, the cartridges are the same for both, whether it's the Stamp and Seal or the Stamp and Seal Plus. So you don't have to buy a special cartridge for the refills. They both will be interchangeable. So the lighter blue is the Stamping Seal and the darker blue is the Stamping Seal Plus. Another thing to note is that you also get 3 yards more in these products than you were getting with the Tombow double adhesive. So a little bit, there may be $1 more, but you are getting more product in that. Let's see, there's just a couple of other things. Oh, I'm going to show you a little bit more about this on this page on adhesives. But number 1 is called adhesive sheets, and it's really even hard to see. It just kind of sticks out there a little bit on the corner of the page here, but I'm going to talk a bit more about that, and we're going to actually, the adhesive sheets were used in the make and take project that I had for the catalog kickoff, so you'll see exactly how how they might work. So then we just go on, there's the punches and punch bundles. Now again, this is referencing a bundle is what? It's a stamp set and a punch, or a stamp set and a die set. So this is featuring what punch bundles we have in this catalog. And remember, the bundle is going to give you a 10% discount. So you can either buy just the jar in this particular case, or you can buy the bundle. You can get the matching stamp set, and then there's the order number and the price for that. I'm not going to talk too much about this section right now because we can't order this product. It's not available for us right now. It will be coming, but we are excited that we have new cut and emboss machines, and we have a regular size and a mini, which is going to be awesome. You'll be able to see some of the, one of the features is it folds up so it's easier to store. It's just, I cannot wait for this to be available. And as soon as I know when it'll be available, I'll be posting it for sure. And these are the accessories that go with that. So I guess I wanted to, there was a reason I was explaining that. So you'll see this other little symbol. It's a dark purple and it says mini. That means this product will work with the mini machine. That's what that's referencing. So now we're on to the die bundles. So these are all the bundles where the die matches the stamp set in the catalog, and again you get the 10% discount. Now I want to just pause for a moment and mention there's a awesome special that's going on for the month of June. So if you decided you wanted to join Stampin' Up!, and really who wouldn't want to join Stampin' Up!, there's really no obligation to it. You can purchase strictly for getting the discount. There's no requirement to build a team. There's no requirement for you to do anything other than what you might want to do with this. But it's $99 to join, and you get $125 worth of product for that $99. You get to pick whatever you want to make up that $125. There's no set, oh, you need to buy this, or this is what comes with it. You can't switch anything out. You pick exactly what you want for that $125. So I call it my favorites kit. So you're basically just pulling things that are your favorites and designing a kit for yourself. The promotion for June is that when you join, you get to pick one bundle. It can be a punch bundle or it can be a die bundle for free, absolutely free. And I went through and looked at, just compared pricing, and the higher end bundle, there's a higher end bundle that's a little bit over $60. So you can get up to an extra $60 worth of product in your kit if you sign up during the month of June. So it's an awesome, awesome, awesome incentive. And if you think you're interested or want to hear a little bit more about that, you know, please contact me and I'd be happy to talk to you about it, and happy to have you join my team. We have a great team of ladies, and we just enjoy sharing everything and having fun with Stampin' Up. So again, these are just more die bundles. Now we get back to this page where you see them listed singly. That doesn't mean there's not a coordinating set to them. It just means that you can't purchase them as a bundle and get the discount. So it's going to show you in the description. So Friendly Silhouettes, for example, it'll tell you it coordinates with Friends Like You stamp set, and it tells you the page you can find that on. But there's just not that 10% discount on these single sets of dies. Embossing folders, we're getting towards the end, I'm promising you. Again, you'll want to see where the N is. These are the new ones. You'll see again that mini symbol, and that means that these are smaller embossing folders. So you'll get two, but they're narrow, so they're going to fit through that mini die cutting and embossing machine. For hosting, sometimes that scares people off when you say, oh, if you host, you can get yada, yada, yada. Well, it does mean that if you want to get a group of friends together and do a virtual workshop, or you want to just collect some friends and have them just, you know, get some orders together, that's fine too. but we have levels of where you can earn rewards. So if your sales of orders gets to $150, that qualifies as the beginning of earning rewards, and you'll get 10% of that total sales price. The next level is 300. So you start out at a minimum of $15 in host merchandise, and it will go up to $290, so $29 worth. Once you hit 300, that Stampin' Rewards increases to 12%. And then the next level is 450, it's 14%. But with that 450, you can also purchase an item at 50% off. The only exclusion on the 50% off is that you cannot purchase a suite. So remember, the suite was the collection of all these different products. You can, however, order a bundle. You can order a medley. You just cannot order a suite at 50% off. And then we always have 2 sets of stamps that are only available if you reach the $150 minimum mark. So these are the 2 samples or 2 sets we have this year. And then this is the end of the index. Everything's all obviously alphabetically listed. Actually, there's a page here that explains the whole joining process, so it tells you what the cost is. I have a specific joining link, and if you go out to my website, Toni Marie's Creations at stampinup.net, you'll see an area there that says join, and it will give you all the information. The very last is there's an accessories index, so if you're looking for just ribbons and embellishments and things, you'll find them there. And that's the catalog. So I do feel like I was pretty long-winded there, but I just wanted to cover some of the features that I think get overlooked sometimes when you're going through it. And I know I've been through this catalog, I don't know, probably 10, 12 times already since I've received it. And I always see something different when I go through it. So that's the amazing part of it. But I wanted to take another few minutes, if you'll bear with me, and just go through and show you a couple of projects I made out of some of the suites that I've been excited to purchase. So bear with me, I have to reach over to get. So I'm an animal lover, and when I saw the Pampered Pets, I knew I was going to have to get this set. So this is a suite, and here they are. I was missing some of my items. So in this suite, you'll get your Pampered Pets stamp set. This is a cling, or again, they sometimes call this a red rubber type stamp. You get a set of dies, and there's 5 in here. If you ever want to know how many are in the dies, it's at the very bottom in the dark band area here. So we have 5 dies that go with this stamp set, and each of these dies fit these images, and then there's this one little die that does a cutout of the paws. I'm going to show you what that looks like in just a minute. You get some trinkets that you can use as embellishments, and they're little bones or little hearts, which they're fun. You get 2 spools of coordinating ribbon. You have like a twisted baker's twine that's black and white, and then the red and white ribbon, and then the DSP, designer series paper. And again, you have these different designs that's specific to cat, that's specific to dogs. You get 2 sheets of different cat images, and the one die I know fits this little guy. I don't think any of the other dies will fit on this designer series paper, and I'm not really sure which ones might fit these papers. I haven't pulled them out and tried to line them up to see, but generally the dies or a die will match our DSP, so you don't have to worry about trying to fussy cut these images. Again, if you turn this over, and you'll see this has got some writing on it: paw, jump, love, meow, purr. That's more cat related. This one's a little bit more dog related. And then you've got the colors that coordinate with this are real red, black, and white. And I love red, white, and black in projects. I think that's one of my favorite color combinations. So let me show you what I made using this suite. I misplaced my card. Oh, there it is. So I made this using our note card sets. Really quickly just stamped the little mouse as my background. And here's that die of the paw prints. You see that? I popped it up on some dimensionals so you can kind of see it a little bit better. And it's just the black, white, and red. It's, you know, really simple, but I think it's a cute little card. I added the little heart embellishment here. And then I used another new product. It's called Mini Paper Pumpkin Boxes. If you're a subscriber to Paper Pumpkin, you know what those boxes are like. And if you're not, it's a larger version of this, where the tabs fold in the front. But it's a very nice size box. You could get a lot of different treats and goodies in here. The neat thing is you could actually make up a set of note cards as a gift, and they fit in there perfectly. And you could probably get 5 to 6 sets, like note card and envelope. I haven't measured it out yet to be sure, but so they fit in there nicely. And all I did to decorate was I just measured my areas here, and I cut out some of the design, you know, designer series paper, covered the front and back, and then just pulled some real red cardstock, made some labels, and here's my little embellishment added there. And I noticed when I was getting ready to show this that I thought the paper could go either way, because the fish work either way, but the hearts are definitely upside down on this when I made it. So, oh well. I don't know if the recipient will notice it, but yeah, that's definitely upside down. So that's the Playful Pets suite. I mentioned I wanted to show you a little bit more about the Memories and More cards. And when I did my previous video, I actually showed you how to make this, but I can't do it because I only had 2 sets of this color card base, and I only had 2 of these sets of cards to work. Got an ink boo-boo on that. But I used one of the shaker domes to make a shaker card out of this. So I was flipping through the cards to see what was available, and I saw this sunflower, and it was blank on this side of the card. So I thought, well, I think that punch might fit in there. Sure enough, it did. So I just punched out with the mason jar punch. I punched out that section. I took one of our mason jar domes and placed it through the cutout. I stamped my stems on the card front, placed my gems in there, and then just did the coordinating sunflowers that go with this set, and just finished it off with a bow. This probably took a little longer only because I was coloring these images, but the shaker card part went together really, really quickly. These are the gems that go inside. You can actually put adhesive on the back of these, and you can actually use them for embellishments that way as well. So just another way of using some of the Memories and More. And again, there's the coordinating matching envelope that went with that. And this is a stamp set that I know I'm going to use a lot of. I just love the mason jar and the flower look. Another one of my favorite color combinations is pink and gray. Pink, gray, and white. And our Peony Suite really hits the mark on that. So what this suite has a lot with it. The stamp set, and again, it's the cling stamp, so it's the red rubber. Okay. And the dies for this, there's 17 dies. There's actually a lot of dies in this one. So I've only worked with the outline die and the leaves for the card that I made to show you today. But there are dies here that you can actually use to build a peony flower. And you'll see it in the samples in the catalog. They're just stunning. I can't wait to give them a try. So there are the dies. I talked about these vellum square doilies. Again, you can color these with the blends. There is a gray granite shimmer ribbon that coordinates. There's a Stamp and Emboss folder. This one's called Dainty Diamond, so you can see those little that diamond pattern, and you'll see it more when I show you the card here in a moment. Embellishments that have the petal pink. There's a clear, kind of a faceted embellishment, and this one is more, it's a frosted one. It's a little bit harder to see under the light, but so clear, petal pink, and frosted. And then just love, love, love this paper. So you get this stunning assortment of petal pink and gray and white. Our petal pink is more of a peachy pink. So some people have looked at it and have called it peach, but it's actually called petal pink. So that's the one side. And then on the other side, it focuses primarily on the grays. There's 2 shades of gray that's in here and the white. Now I wanted to make sure that you were aware that when we have something that's DSP, pardon my head there, we have the DSP that has white space in it. You can color these, absolutely can color these. So you could cut a section out and just highlight and color in there on the details. And that's what I did when I created this card. Pull that in here and show you. So here's the card that I made. So this was the gray and white paper, and I just took our petal pink, our dark petal pink blender, and I just took the brush tip and I just went back and forth in no specific pattern. If you'll notice, it's kind of a vintage or distressed sort of look because I didn't catch color across the whole piece. So you can color those to give it a different look. The bottom part of the card is using the embossing folder. Here are my embellishments. That little bit of the vellum doily, the shimmering ribbon, and then I just die cut the flower and the leaves for that, and then just pop them up with dimensionals on my panel, and there you have it. A little bit of everything that's in that suite for this particular card. And one more thing. You may have noticed that certain type of labels I've been using on a couple of the cards I've shown. This stamp set is going to be used a lot by me. I already know it because I love the phrases, and I just love that they're line sentiments. A lot of times you don't have a lot of room to put your sentiment, and I like it when you have just a line of sentiment instead of a grouping of sentiment, if that makes sense. And I like the fonts in here too. So there's some really cute little solid images that go with it. But this bundle includes this really cool punch that gives you a way of creating different types of tags, I guess is what I want to call them. So let me bring my card in here. Again, I used the note cards to make this, and I just picked some different colors. This features our new, I'm getting used to these colors, so I have to keep looking at them. Just Jade, I believe it is. And I created the tags with this punch. So let me explain to you how this works. I like to decorate my flaps on my envelopes because I think it just dresses it up a little bit more. So if you'll see, there's some dotted lines here on these 2 different styles. So you can punch with a scallop type of an edge, or just more of a flat, subtle kind of an edge. And there are kind of gutters in here. So you can punch 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch, or 1 inch in each of these slots. But what you need to keep in mind is when you're cutting your paper, so this is 1/2 inch, but it's just a little bit less than 1/2 inch, just a hair less than 1/2 inch. This is the same, just a hair less than 3/4 and just a hair less than 1 inch. And the reason is because you want this to slide easily in that little gutter, okay? If it doesn't slide easily, you're going to have problems getting it into the punch properly. It needs to go up to the edge of the punch there. I'm going to do that, and I'll turn this around. And I'll slide that in. Again, I'm going to slide it until it won't go any further. I'm just going to put my thumb on it to hold it in place and make sure that it's up against the wall there. And I'm going to punch that. So now I've got an evenly punched label. And if I do the 3/4, that's the same thing. I'm going to push it till it doesn't go any further. I'm going to make sure it's up against the wall there. Punch. Flip it over. You just don't want it to be dragging in there because you're not going to get the even cuts on both ends if that happens. And then we'll just do the 1 inch. Actually, I feel like that's probably pushing it. I didn't cut it quite short enough of the inch. Push it in, hold it there, make sure it's up against the wall, and punch. So now you've got this series of labels that coordinate. Okay. So that's what I have to show you from some of the products, my favorites of the catalog so far. And I'm going to pop back on a little bit later and show a make and take card that I had designed for this, for the open house. I'll do that as a separate short video, but I hope you enjoyed seeing some of the things in the catalog and a few of the projects that I made for you. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me and I will be happy to answer them for you. So thanks so much for watching.